Hi, Wesley. Welcome to AI for Business.
Hello. Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course. So today I'm speaking with Wesley Hoang. He's the founder of Cymate and COO at Agency Workplaces, which both are in the sales and marketing space. In your own words, tell me about yourself. Tell us about yourself. What do you do these days, and where is your focus?
Yeah, of course. So spot on, like you mentioned, I run two different businesses right now. I am the CEO of a marketing agency called Cymate. Essentially, we are a B2B marketing company and we work mainly in the tech space. We do primarily cold outreach. And we also help our customers with some other additional services like RevOff. We'll start to help them implementing different like AI agents here and there throughout their company as well. So wide range of services, whatever the customer is needing help with, but our core service of bread and butter is essentially cold outreach. Other than that, I also run operation for a company called Agency Workplaces. It is more on the the HR consulting side of things. So we give agencies with good culture and official recognition, and just by being a part of the program, they get access to like a bunch of other cool stuff as well. And they get coaching for the leadership team on how to be better leaders. They get access to a community and just some other fun things that we do. So yeah, those are the two companies that I am running at the moment.
Great. So Agency Workplaces is on the HR and staffing side, if I understood it
Yeah,
right, and
yeah,
coaching in that
HR
space.
leadership coaching, not necessarily
Le-
staffing, but yeah,
mhm.
exactly.
Leadership coaching. Great. And
Yeah,
Cymate, if I'm pronouncing it right, is
that's
for
right. Yeah,
cold outreach for B2B companies.
yep, it's a service company. Exactly.
Okay. Which one of these two companies, because running two companies is a lot of work, which one of them takes more of your time these days?
Oh, good question. Definitely SideMate.
Mhm.
um, yeah, I think mainly because it's the company that I've been running for the past few years, 3, 4 years now. So it's been a while, and we're scaled at the level where it needs more of my attention. Agency workplaces, in the other hand, is more of like a long game thing that we, like myself and the CEO, knew this is what we're going to be doing. Just go into the business in the sense that the core, like the way to grow the business is mainly on the branding side of things. Get more people to know about it. And it's interesting we're talking about AI today because we have automated so much of the internal backend, so it doesn't cost as much. So really the next step is just scale up brand, get the words out there, get more people to know about a company. So it's definitely less work now, but in the long run, potentially there's more stuff that we can do with it.
Would you say that you're kind of elevating or using Cymate to kind of, because it's a B2B, right? I'm assuming,
Yeah.
to help with your agency workplaces to get
Oh,
more
yeah.
visibility, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think with my expertise in the marketing space, definitely has helped agency workplaces a ton. And I think we've had at this point, because of recognition program, at this point, I think we closing in on about 1,500 applications already. And
Wow.
we literally just launched earlier, beginning of the year. So to give the audience some context, it's about 4 months in. Yeah, roughly about 1,500 applications already because of the marketing expertise that I was bringing in from SideMate. So
That's amazing. How do you do that? Tell me a little bit more about that. How do you in what capacity are you using AI? Give us a little bit of a peek into the processes and how you do it.
yeah, sure, sounds good. Which one do you want to know more first about SideMate or about agency workplaces?
Um, I think I'm very curious to know how you are kind of getting that great traction within a short period of time.
Got it. With SideMate, I think the good thing about it is I'm the type of person who try to solve my own problem. I don't try to look into a different industry, get into a space that I don't know about. So the story was I applied for one of our competitors for agency workplaces, and we were rejected because we did not meet the criteria. So I found out that, all right, in order for me to meet the criteria, there's a lot of things I have to do. And typically in the agency space, there's not really possible for a lot of agencies to meet the criteria. So in a sense, I kind of knew that it was a problem if I cares about, other people might cares about as well, right? And from me running a marketing agency, I had the privilege to take a look at, I get a chance to work with different customers to learn more about strategy, positioning, and I got to learn a lot when it comes to the psychology of things on how to get people interested in your product, how to do marketing, how to build a brand, and things like that. And yeah, I just take that, apply it to agency workplaces, build out the workflow, build out the cold email funnel, build out all that marketing effort for agency workplaces, and we just run away with it.
Great. Okay. So you basically used tried and tested workflows and methods that you were using for Cymate that was working out, and you
Yeah,
applied it to agency workplace. That's amazing.
correct. Correct. Yeah.
What? How would you say? In what capacity are you kind of using AI? I'm curious because I know that AI is actually helping a lot with um, helping humans to not to do mundane work and do what's interesting and exciting for us. It's going more towards that way. It's not 100% there, obviously. It's just getting started.
Yeah.
In what capacity do you think your company has started using this, or you see that other companies in in your space have started using it? And is it really helping? Is it doing it right? Or we still have to stick sometimes to what's the way that we've been doing things traditionally.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been getting into AI for, I would say, a very long time now. Even like since the start of the agency, this is when GPT first came out. And even
Yeah.
take a step beyond that, before I started my whole business and all that kind of stuff, I was actually an AI and machine learning engineer from Apple. So I build all this automation, I build all this workflow. I know what
Mhm.
machine learning is, all that kind of stuff. Um, so we've been tapping into AI for a very long time now, and I think it was up until recently where Claude started to deploy like all different like features, products, which is amazing. That was when we wanted to look into automating as much the backend processes as much as possible. So even up to this point, I would say that I want to be careful what I'm saying because obviously things are changing very quickly. I would say right now our focus is to really build out, or not build, but automating as much as the backend process as much as we can, right? So in both businesses, anything that is related to admin, fulfillment, finance, all that kind of stuff has been or is getting automated by AI. I think on the flip side, the one thing that we are not automating yet, and I don't think we're ever going to get to this point, is anything that relates to like a human interactions or creative or strategy. That's something that perhaps we use AI to give us advices and run through like a quick checklist to see what they think, but it's still coming out from our team. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Amazing. So basically, what's more of the operationals, those are the ones that kind of we can take the humans out and kind of replace it with
Yeah,
um, you know, AI because it's straightforward what to do, and wherever we need the interactions to be human, we still want to keep the humans obviously and kind of um in the process, right? So it's basically when you say back
exactly.
end, you mean more of the operations side.
Exactly. Yeah. I think maybe the better way for me to think about it, something that I have my team to think about it as
Mhm.
well, is if there is a step by step workflow instruction and it
Mhm.
is repeatable. We're doing it the same thing every single time, every single week, every single day, every single time we bring on a new customer. That's something we can automate, right?
Yeah.
Other things like maybe understanding the customer product, really figure out like a new strategy. That is something is still requiring our internal team to have like a human to human interaction with.
Let me switch gears a little bit into the type of ICP that you're going after.
Sure.
Um, for your agency workplaces.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me about that. What are the type of ICPs, and yeah, how are you kind of? What is your value prop for them mainly?
Yeah. For agency workplaces, we're going after all agencies. So specifically, I would say, well, right now we're not really going after development agency, but mainly creative or marketing agencies. Really, the value proposition is if you have a good culture, we give you a recognition, an official recognition for that. You get publications and everything, get to brag, get to show that to your hiring funnel and all that kind of stuff. And when they join the program, when they be a part of the program, I think what they realize is they're getting a lot more than just a recognition. They get a community, they get leadership coaching. If they have a new manager who just got promoted or they just brought on like a new leadership team member, then we help coach those folks to be a better leader as well. So those are
Mm.
just added bonus, but what most people are finding more valuable compared to just having the award they can brag about.
Got it. So it's basically you're giving them the kind of recognition, and that is a leverage for them. How did you build the kind of credibility? Because you're saying you're the only agency that's doing that, it seems so far. How do they get the credit kind of they can bring kind of that trust? What is the how did you build the kind of trust with them? They say, "Oh, okay, yeah, what we say and when we promote you, it means something."
That's a great question. And I think that's the long game that we're playing. All right. Like the brand is not going to build itself within the first year. That is something that is just going to take more time when people start talking about it more, when more people know about us in the next few years, then the brand will be, I guess, like get to the next level. But for now, it's just simply words of mouth. When they join the program, when they become a part of it, they realize like, hey, I'm actually getting all these benefits. They start telling their friends and all that kind of stuff. But our goal is a few years from now, we are able to build a brand that eventually attracts everyone can start coming in without having us to reach out to them directly.
Hmm. Hmm. So that is you're still building the brand ups and that is I'm assuming so the kind of referral system I'm assuming right now is the
Yeah.
main channel that's bringing
Yeah.
the clients to you. What would be the next best? What are you hoping for to be the next best? Especially like when you have Cymate and you're kind of using those cold outreaches, you're saying that is still not the first. It's the referral first, which does make sense. What are you hoping for to be the next best channel?
Yeah, I would say outreach right now is our number one channel for
Mhm.
agency workplaces, and then referral would be second. I think
Okay.
the next bets that I'm hoping for
Mhm.
is perhaps some sort of like ads channel where we can start running ads, and that's going to require maybe like us bringing in the initial revenue first before we can do all kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Of course, down the road, we're hoping that we can just relying on our brand, right? So I think so far, those are the two things that we've been doing. So outreach first, referrals, and then ads is probably up next. And then once the brand is established, then that's something we really want to double down into.
Okay, so first is basically the outreach, the cold outreach, I'm assuming, and then it's the referrals that are probably from those cold outreaches that turn into warm, and then
Yeah,
next is that you want to use ads to kind of promote yourself so that you will attract as opposed to you going after them.
yeah,
I'm curious about the cold outreach because you said I thought first that the referral would be first, but cold outreach is doing better, which
yeah,
obviously it makes sense because it's a wider net. You can reach out to a lot more companies that may, that your value prop means something to them.
yeah.
Um, in the cold outreach space, what methods would you say is it like cold email outreach? Is it LinkedIn outreach? Which methods or which channels do you recommend?
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. And then this is where Cymate, my other actually agency comes
Mhm,
in. Because we run outreach for all B2B companies. And email is something we always look into first because
mhm,
with email, you can actually scale indefinitely. Like you can send as many emails as you want to. Of course, you need to have the right setup, or in the space we call it the right infrastructure in place. But theoretically, depending how much you can spend, you can scale email indefinitely. With LinkedIn, there's a few caveats, right? Like each link you cannot buy like fake LinkedIn profile and start sending out like all these messages. You have to use like a real human profile. And the caveat is there's a limit on how many you can send. right? Same thing with calling. Of course, you can use like a power dialer and you can do cold call, a lot of them, but you need to have like an actual human doing cold calling, right? Maybe in the future, in a few months from now, we might be able to see like an AI who's very good at doing cold calling, but with email is something that we always look into it first. We use LinkedIn as like a secondary channel in the sense that if somebody who was to be interested in a product or service, but let's say they stop responding after that, then we use LinkedIn as like a follow-up channel to make sure that we can get in touch with the person so that they can continue on the sales process with the clients.
Got it. You know what?
Yeah,
Recently, I have seen some cold outreaches in my inbox in LinkedIn. And
mm,
what caught my attention was that some people, I don't know if it's an automated system doing that or are
yeah,
they just doing it one person at a time, that they are reaching out with a voice message. So they're
yeah,
basically leaving a voice. Do you think that's AI or is it something that people are, find out, okay, that's a tool in LinkedIn, why not use it? Because I reply
yeah,
to those. Even if it's a no, I'll reply to them.
yeah. It's all automated. It is
It
something
is?
we actually been,
Wow.
yeah, we did that a few years ago. And
Mm,
even we nowadays you can automate like a custom video for person as well. So the way that we do it is we have the client record themselves talking in front of the camera once, and they talk about the product and things like that. And when we automate it using AI, the client, the only thing we would change is the client, the prospect's name, the person that we're reaching out to, right? So we swap the name, we might change the prospect company, and then in the background, we automate it in the way that it looks like our customer is scrolling through the web page of the prospect that they're reaching out to,
mm.
right? So I would be like, I'll just record myself. One, I'll run like a bunch of cold email, cold LinkedIn. When I reach out to you, Sarah, you will see me mentioning your name, and I'll scroll through your website, right? But all of that is automated.
Got it. Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard about the video, but I haven't heard about the voice. How is it? Have you heard of any tools that kind of you can just
Oh yeah.
do the LinkedIn outreach with voice that is kind of doing that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we don't do that anymore nowadays just because
Mm.
the cost doesn't make sense for us.
Oh, it's expensive.
But
Yeah.
even things like Descript, which is like a video editor, you can have
Mm.
like an AI voice that can do it for you now. So every time you do like a what you do like a video and you might have like a mistake somewhere in the audio, you can literally just record your voice once and then you can generate like an AI sound of you just say whatever you wanted to say. So there's a lot of tools that can help you with that nowadays.
And do you think those are kind of helpful? I know that it made me reply.
Yeah.
But in terms of accuracy, like if it said my name wrong, I'd probably like, you know.
Yeah.
What would you say is the level of accuracy? How much you would rely on it as someone who's an expert in this field and, know machine learning and know all of that stuff?
Yeah, fair enough. And I think you have a very good point as well. I would say depending on the accuracy is something that we need to think about. Is it something that we should use or should not use? Right.
Mhm.
Um, this is kind of not related to the AI voice, but if I were to give you an example, it would be like this. Let's say if I want to reach out to John, right? And John
Mhm.
has a coworker, his name is Bob, right? Now, what I can do is I can use AI to do a research on John and find out that Bob is his coworker. So in the email, I can say something like, "Hey, John, I have this product. I think it would be very nice. I know you're busy, but should I reach out to Bob instead?" And maybe I get that right, but let's say if Bob is not the right person to follow up with, it kind of make my credibility goes away,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
in this case, it might be better off if I mention to John, like, "Hey, John, if it's not a good fit, can you please refer me to the right team member that I can reach out to instead?" Right? So I'm no longer mentioning Bob. It's a more generic message, but it works better than if I was to get the information wrong.
That's a great tip. So basically what you're saying is that the less we're giving the model the less chances to make mistake.
Exactly. Unless you know 100% sure. There's some data
Mhm.
that you can get with AI that you know for a fact that it is accurate, but if you're just
Mhm.
guessing, especially things
Mhm.
like role
Mhm.
description, like you have no idea who's in charge of what in what organization, I would say just skip it.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah,
Understood, understood. Um, but your recommendation for cold outreach, for the most part, is basically email. It seems that it's working. It's the safest and the bet still.
yeah,
Um, and it works kind of well. And tell me about Cymate. What type of ICP are you targeting in Cymate? Who do you want to kind of this podcast to get to? Who do you want to,
yeah, yeah.
target with it?
Yeah, fair enough. With Cymate, we work with B2B companies. With cold email, really, we can only do B2B. There's a lot of laws and
Mhm,
regulations when it comes to B2C.
mhm.
And we focus primarily in the tech space. So software company, tech startups. We also work with other services as well. So any company that are B2B, they all would be under our ICPs. But in general, we try to focus more on the technology sector.
Got it. So
Yeah,
B2B companies, if they are more focused on technology, those are the
yeah,
ICP for your assignment, and you can help them with um outreach and kind of they're the cold outbound reach, right?
correct. Yeah.
Um what would you say, what is your main bottlenecks in both of these, whichever company you want to talk about? What is
Sure.
your bottleneck kind of keeps you up at night, or if not at night, just makes you wake up earlier?
Oh man, that's such an interesting question. I don't have much to say about agency workplaces. The bottleneck for it, as I mentioned, is just the brand game, right? It just we have to invest into the company in the long run. We just have to understand that right now, not a lot of people know about us. And maybe 5 years, 10 years from now, it will be a different story, right?
Mhm.
But I can definitely speak for Simei. I think this is the part where AI can come in a lot. Um, the biggest bottleneck for us really is a margin. I think that most people, I don't know, like they don't have the right expectation when it comes to cold email. So it does take a lot of effort for us to try to explain to them, like, look, we charge you this much, but in reality, we don't really pocket all of it, right? Um, it's kind of funny because if you take like a cold email agency and you take an advertisement agency into comparison, right? Let's say if a company wants to run ad, right? They kind of expect that, okay, if I want to work with an agency, I have to pay a service fee for the agency. Now I also have to pay for the ad spend. Right. So let's say this month I want to spend like $10,000 on ad. I pay $10,000 and I pay a fee for the agency to help me run that ad. Right. With
Yeah.
cold email, I don't know why the expectation is the complete opposite. Like they expect everything just grouped together, but no, it's just like ad. There's infrastructure, there's data, there's so much thing that is going on. So definitely the margin is something that keeps me up at night. And I think also the reason why I'm very, very excited for all of this AI age nowadays is because that is going to help us optimize our margin because now we can cut through a lot of all of these where we would need maybe like subscribe to a more expensive tool. Maybe we have to hire another person to do it that we didn't have the budget to look into. Well, now we can because all we gotta do is just automate it.
So if I wouldn't say, like, in a nutshell, what is keeping you up at night, it is people's clients' expectations that you wanna help them kind of to adjust with what is really possible to do with
Yes.
the, email
Yeah.
outbound, and then you're also thinking how you can help them really with the tools that are out there in the AI space, and you're constantly on the look to find maybe the best tools to be able to
Yep.
kind of, or, create maybe the tools that are
Yeah.
going to really help them kind of maybe get closer to that expectation, or kind of being able to explain that, how it actually can work and help them in the
Sure.
long run.
I would say the margin is the bottleneck. And with
Mhm,
AI, it's going to help us with having better margin that allow us to scale the agency even to the next level.
mhm. Amazing. Got it. Um, I would like to know a little bit, again, switching gears.
Yeah.
Um, do you have a, other than, the outreach systems, a kind of more of the structured system or process that will consistently bring in these new companies, let's say these startups, um, in a way that you kind of well, let's say it this way, more qualified leads, more qualified companies that you can actually serve them and help them. Because there's not, we can't help everybody. We would love to, but we
Mm,
can't help everybody. How would you, is there a system that you follow? Say, oh, I know that, or I get these signals that tells me these companies are the ones that I can help best.
yeah. So the short answer is yes. And it's all on the data side of thing more than what channel you're using with. So for example, if I want to work with B2B companies, of course, that's something everybody can help. But let's say I only want to work with tech company who has maybe like 10 to 15 employees, who has all this criteria. They have to be in the fintech space and the CEO has to be younger than 28 years old or whatever it might be, right? What I
Mm-hmm.
would do is start off with big list, right? Like, look, this is all the B2B companies that are in the tech space, right? And then what I would do is I would use AI to filter it all out, right? I go one step at a time, right? Maybe the first step is filtering out and removing all the BB company in the US only, right? And then the next step might be to look into the companies that are in the fintech industry. The next step would be see if this company has had an increase in headcount for the past 3 years. The next step would be see if that company have a founder who's younger than whatever age you want it to be,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you see right here is a step by step by step by step process. It started with a big list, right? And B2B
Yeah.
tech company, this is like hundred, if not millions of company out there. And now I'm able to condense the list and really laser target on the companies that I want to work with, right? And from there, I can find the actual decision makers from those companies that I want to reach out and contact them, right? So this is on the data side of thing. And of course, what I can do with this data is I could run multiple like different channel with it. If I want to do cold email outreach, I just need to enrich the person's email to send an email to them. If I want to go with LinkedIn, I can enrich the LinkedIn profile and send them a message on LinkedIn. If I
Mm-hmm.
want to run ads for them, well, guess what? I have the list and I can also run LinkedIn ads to them as well. So it doesn't necessarily about the channel that you want to go with. It's can you get a targeted list that you know for sure that is going to be your ICP?
Mm. Would you think that is kind of this kind of pipeline would be more predictable, or um the more you know about them, would it make them even more predictable? Or I mean, it does, right? But we
Yeah.
don't know still how what percentage of the data that we have is kind of reliable, or even if it's out there about these
Yeah.
people, right?
Yeah, 100%. Super predictable. I mean, there's still going to be things that you're not able to see from a company perspective, right? You might not be
Hmm.
able to see maybe like the company like spreadsheet. Do you know for sure that they have like good cash flow? Do you know if the person you're working with is like a nice person or are they like a troublemaker that you're getting
Yeah.
yourself into, right? Like, those are the few things that you don't know what you're getting yourself into. But at the very least, you get a chance to filter out most of the criteria that you want to work with, right? For fancier word, this is what we call marketing qualified leads. And this is something we can figure it out when they hop into like the first initial conversation with people or with us. This is what we transition them into sales qualified leads. And this is where we see if they have the budget, are they a good person, are they a good culture fit to work with our
Mhm.
agency? Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so from marketing qualified leads to sales qualified leads, that
Yeah.
process. Um, what question were you hoping that I asked or want me to ask, um, that you wanna cover that I haven't? Wow, that was a long way to ask. Is there anything else that you wanna kind of share that I didn't touch on?
I think you ask great questions. Actually, I think in general, I'm more of like I think my skill set is more on like the operational side of things. Like maybe just how my brain works. I just like a bunch of like different cylinder that's just firing out whenever like a problem comes in. So I just think things from a very operational perspective. And I think nowadays the biggest question, not just myself or you are asking, is like how do business start adopting of this AI tool, right?
Okay.
And I think I hopefully can briefly mention a few ways that businesses can do that. They can use AI to help leverage like their marketing to help whether or not a prospect is a good sales qualified lead. They can use that in the internal operation. But I think in general, anything that you could like you have a good defined processes for, like this is step one, and then step two, step three, step four, and for a fact that that is a repeated task, then that's something you can bring AI into. But that's the number one question that myself, my team is trying to figure it out. I'm sure our business owners are also trying to figure out how to bring AI into the company as well. So.
Understood, understood. So far as your ICP and the people you want to kind of listen to and know about your companies, it's the startups with technical product and all, basically tech products, and other companies that do B2B, and also I'm assuming the marketing agencies that want to get that kind of recognition, kind of leveraging your agency platform. Um, if, who else would, if I did I miss any kind of ICP persona over here or not?
Yeah, no, I think you hit the spot on both companies I'm running.
Thanks. And last but not least, how can people find you and connect with you?
Think of me on LinkedIn. I'm probably most active on that platform.
Mhm.
So it's LinkedIn slash I think like IN, and then my username is Hey Wesley. You can also find me on YouTube as well. On YouTube is at Hi Wesley instead. So Hey Wesley on LinkedIn and Hi Wesley on YouTube.
Awesome. I'm going to leave the links for the listeners to be able to easily find you. This was great. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me, Sarah.